gangster Darshan, who's now a murder accused. Darshan, in a dramatic turn of events, has now been arrested yet again in Renukaswamy murder case. In the Darshan case, the Supreme Court has torn into the Karnataka High Court's decision to grant Darshan bail. The top court cancelled his bail with immediate effect, calling the High Court's order pervasive. In fact, the High Court's order has been deemed as perverse exercise of judicial power that ignored the principles of law for granting bail in serious offences. I'm going to take you through what Karnataka Minister Santosh Lad had to say, because you have the Karnataka government who batted for this cancellation of bail, pushed the case before the Supreme Court. After the High Court granted Darshan bail, Karnataka government appealed to the Supreme Court to cancel it, and that's what's happened here.
The Supreme Court is supreme, right? If the Supreme Court has made an order, so how to look at it? So we have to just accept it. We fought for it, right? So with that, we thought that both the things where we had lost, so we fought for it. And today, I think justice has prevailed according to the Supreme Court. Whatever it is there, we have to accept it. Thank you so much.
Now, we hear Darshan was picked up from his wife's house in Hosakerehalli, Bengaluru. Sources say that he was planning to evade arrest and surrender in court, but it seems like the police acted on a tip-off swiftly, landed up at Darshan's wife's house even before he could actually surrender. Now, there were claims that he was initially incommunicado, there was no contact on where he was, no information on where he was, no contact of him, no trace of him. And finally, the police found out that he was in his wife's house and they rushed to that spot and arrested him. Now, Supreme Court said granting bail to Darshan without considering the gravity of the crime, the accused role in the case, the risk of witness interference was all unwarranted misuse of discretion. Strong forensic and circumstantial evidence coupled with allegations of witness intimidation made Darshan's liberty while on bail a real threat to a fair trial. All observations of the top court. Now, the bail of not just him, also his partner, Pavitra Gowda, has also been cancelled, along with 5 others who were out on bail. So, they've all been arrested. These are fresh visuals of today, where Pavitra Gowda was taken into arrest right from her home. The court also took serious note of Darshan's 5-star treatment in custody, pointing to some viral photographs of Darshan smoking in prison, having his nice chai in the lawn, all of it with gangster J. Nagaraj inside jail. The very famous poster picture of Darshan's VIP treatment from inside Parapanagrahara prison. Now, the court said it was the jail superintendent's duty to ensure that this does not happen. And if at all this happens again, then be sure that the jail officials will be suspended. This has come straight from the top court, a warning that such misconduct, be it a photograph being released or, Darshan seen in such a fashion inside the jail premises with a cigarette or chai in the lawns, any of this comes out to public, then strict action should be taken against jail officials. None other than the top court directing this. So, of course, at this point, all pressure falls on the new ADGP prisons, B. Dayananda. Dayananda, who was recently suspended in the RCB Stampede case, he's been reinstated. He has now been posted as ADGP prisons. He's going to be overseeing Darshan's case as well. So all responsibility on him now to ensure Darshan abides by prison rules. Darshan has also been moving in and out of the country at least twice. He's got permission from the court itself while he was granted bail. He was also granted permission to go abroad, shoot on his film Devil and come back. So twice over, he's gone back and forth. So clearly here, the Supreme Court taking very clear note that this is wrong precedence set. Supreme Court intervention here, the Karnataka government's appeal after they basically said that this is not right, giving him bail, allowing to go back to his normal life is not the right precedent they want to set in the state. So Karnataka government's appeal to the Supreme Court seems like has brought yield. Darshan now is back behind bars, and this surely underlines that stardom offers no shield from the rule of law. All right, let me quickly bring in our guests. We have, of course, our former ADGP, the Karnataka Police, who joins me live here, Sanjay Sahai, who's been with me on this and through this as we've covered Darshan's story. Sanjay Sahai, thank you very much. We also have Mr. Rajiv Nanda, Senior Advocate of the Supreme Court. I appreciate you joining us last moment, sir. Let me start with Sanjay. a quick word from you, Sanjay, on from what we see here, Darshan being arrested in quite a dramatic fashion. And for our viewers who are watching and know Darshan, we hear the man wanted to surrender. So he was just not in the places where he ideally should have been. The cops were a little confused where he was. There was little speculation whether he escaped after the Supreme Court's verdict. And there was no communication to where Darshan was. And finally, after a tip-off, they realized that he was in his wife's house. So we hear that he was trying to basically make this as dramatic as it could be by surrendering himself in court and whatnot. But before that, the cops busted that.
See, Darshan has been trying to get the better side of law on his side from the beginning itself. So first we got produced 4 fake accused. After that, we got to know that he had paid these people for whatever 30 lakhs, 20 lakhs, 25 lakhs, whatever. When he went to jail, then he started his partying, and the Supreme Court today says that in case the proper Nagarara administration does something of this nature again, then they will be forced to act or they will give directives to act. Why the Supreme Court did not give directive to act in this particular instances when everything is documented, I have absolutely no idea. From there, they start with the bail story. So the bail story reached its first level of success on October the 30th, when it was proven to the court that he needs a spinal surgery or there is some huge problem in his back. He was released on interim bail for 6 weeks. In 6 weeks' time, literally nothing was done. And all the medical records which support his normal conditions, but for, I think, Dr. Naveen, who has written about his blood.
Sahai, we seem to have a problem with your connection, but before we clear that, Mr. Rajiv, if you can come in on this. We're looking at the Supreme Court's order here, really exposing a deep rot when it comes to celebrities using their influences. They managed to get their way, and it's unfortunate that the High Court thought this case was fit. And Darshan was fit enough to be granted bail while the man flouted jail norms, prison guidelines. He claimed that he had backache. He did not even attend hearings. But then he was seen later being part of film screenings and whatnot. He was moving about his daily life but giving reasons to the court. And yet the court granted him bail and let him go abroad twice. The High Court has been pulled up for violating the principle of law. What does this speak of?
Well, Supreme Court is supreme, and nobody is above the Supreme Court at the moment in this country. But then I, with all respects to the Supreme Court here, I have a different view here. I mean, he has been made to pay just because, as we are all talking, that he's actor so-and-so. I mean, he's paying price for being a celebrity. The law of jurisprudence has been set aside. The jurisprudence of bail has been totally ignored here. What is wrong with the High Court order? The normal jurisprudence we have started off the bail is that the person should not be in a position to tamper with the witness. He should not be in a position to hamper the trial, and he should not run away from the jurisdiction. Are any of the 3 principles applicable here? If not, then why this Darshan actor should be made to suffer just because he is a celebrity? I mean, it is so totally absurd. Where is the shoe pinching? Is the shoe pinching that he was smoking in the jail? Is the shoe pinching that he went abroad? These are not the principles for grant of bail, or certainly not the principle for rejection of bail. That if he was found smoking in the jail, then where are we going?
You're basically saying that just because he was found smoking inside prison, just because he was sent abroad to complete his shoot, the Supreme Court saying that his bail should be cancelled is not fair.
Yeah, this is what I am certainly saying. I am not mincing my words. I'm very clear with utmost respect to Supreme Court here. I mean, the principles of grant of bail are different and principles of cancellation of bail are different. Here, I think there is an error in the judgment, which perhaps may be looked into later, but all these will be proved whether he is guilty. The gravity of offense in earlier time was never a principle, or at least were very remotely a principle to grant or reject a bail.
Okay.
But now today, look at it, why his bail has been cancelled. I don't hold a brief for this actor.
So, it's very interesting. Mr. Rajiv basically has a point here. He says that bail is a person's right.
Yes.
And Darshan is now paying the price for being a celebrity. He has to go back to prison because his bail has been cancelled, all because he's a celebrity. Mr. Sanjay, your take on this. A 5-star treatment given to a celebrity. How common is it for people to get 5-star treatment? For criminals to get 5-star treatment?
No, no, it is radically different from whatever is being told. See, this particular accused or suspect, whatever you call him. So once he is producing a fake accused, and the person who is producing fake accused, how can we give him a clean sheet that he will not influence investigation? Then what he does in jail certainly would have brought people together. That is why I am of the opinion that jail administration also disciplinary action needs to be taken, and something which becomes a role model for the jail administration to fall in line or to do whatever they are supposed to do. Then he gets an interim bail. Now the interim bail condition is primarily that he will undergo surgery, and that does not happen. In spite of that, the High Court, when there is a clear-cut bail hearing where SPP has told literally anything and everything which is required in the case and what was going wrong, still he is being given a regular bail. It does not stop there. This person is allowed to go and shoot in Dubai and Europe, and also in Hong Kong, if I am not mistaken. The first one he is not able to fulfill for whatever reasons known to him. He gets a second chance. So from 30th of October till 14th of August, he has been out on bail on literally things which he did not comply to the court orders. And that is where the Supreme Court has found clear-cut fault. And today also, Darshan is in a position to influence things, and the type of clout which he carries, even outside of whatever is the governmental mechanism or the criminal justice ecosystem, he has a huge clout. Let's be very clear about it.
You know, I just have one question to Mr. Rajiv. You have the Supreme Court basically pulling up the High Court, saying that you violated the principle of law. You've overlooked basic proof that the case has with regards to forensic tests and the fact that DNA test, witness statements, all of it, which hints and directs at Darshan committing the crime. The case is he is still under trial, but of course these allegations and evidences are concrete enough for the court to not have granted him normal bail the way they did. How do you unsee that, Mr. Rajiv?
No, I'm sorry. This, whether there are proofs, clear proofs and all that, these are all presumptions before the trial. What for the trial is there? Ultimately, if these kind of proofs are to make him guilty or not guilty, then why trial? Trial is meant to prove his innocence or the guilt.
So you are overlooking the fact that the man can actually influence witnesses while he's out. He has enough clout to do that.
All these are again acquisitions that he brought in some false victim, these accused and all that. I don't say whether he has or he has not, but I am against reiterating those three principles. Whether he would have run away from the country, or the Supreme Court could have, or the High Court could have, the bail granting court could have imposed conditions that he will not enter the state, or he will not enter the South India. He will remain in the northern part of India, or such kind of conditions, whereby
basically they shouldn't have cancelled his bail. That's what you're saying.
I am basically in favor of the liberty of a person. Article 21 is a guarantor of liberty of the person in India. And we are all bound by the Constitution of India. I am not saying anything against Supreme Court. The Honorable Supreme Court is Supreme Court. They must have passed an order keeping in view certain facts and circumstances. I am only reiterating that perhaps the basic principles have been, there is a miscarriage.
You know, but I should tell you, Mr. Rajiv, that the larger public perception was that this was granted to Darshan because he's a high-profile personality. He's a celebrity with clout. That's the perception that. Let's not forget the fact that a common person will never be able to get bail and go out of country and come back and go back to their their regular way of life if he or she was a murder accused. Doesn't happen so commonly. Murder accused in such serious cases are usually behind bars. Forget bail.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He's paying the price just because he's a celebrity.
No, but I'm saying non-celebrities never get this priority treatment, no?
This happened. See, we had yet another film star from the Hindi film industry who was accused of killing a deer somewhere in
Yes.
Rajasthan. He too had to suffer a lot. And similarly, we have so many examples just because they were celebrated. See, as I said, I am not holding any brief for a particular accused here. I am simply reiterating what I feel are the principles of for grant of bail and certainly for cancellation of bail. Here we are not having a case of grant of bail. This is a case of cancellation of bail. The principles are stricter.
Sanjay, the Supreme Court deemed that this bail granted to Darshan was on flimsy grounds and not right. The Supreme Court, of course, has detailed it, and it's the apex court. We respect it. But
Of course, yes.
just to analyze, yeah, of course, just to analyze, I'm reiterating the fact that there's nothing that can be done now. The judgment has already come out, and Darshan is arrested. He's behind bars again. But Mr. Sanjay, as the Supreme Court has detailed, saying that the High Court has overlooked so many aspects of this case, the seriousness, the gravity of this case, and given this man bail. Do you agree with it? As a former cop in Karnataka, how easy it is for a person who has murder allegations on him or her to get bail, go out of the country and go about doing their film shoots and their duties and come back with ease?
I think
And then VIP
75
treatment. I'm going to stress on that. VIP treatment. How often and how common is
we'll come to
VIP
that.
treatment for prisoners?
We'll come to that, but I think around 65-70% of the prisoners are under trials. So that explains how easy it is to get bail or not to get bail. I'm leaving aside the evidence part of it, the influence part of it. I'm literally leaving everything aside. What I'm talking about, that the High Court of Karnataka was taken for a ride, and they went for that ride. So they gave interim bail for something which did not happen. Actually, that specified treatment was not administered. And then different documents have been given, and he moved out of the hospital, even without that particular treatment. Where was the reason to allow this accused to go and get treated in a private hospital? There are any number of government hospitals in a big city like Bangalore who have the capability to provide this sort of a treatment. With regards to influence, what he would have done, what he would not have done, and what my esteemed panelist is talking about, that the conditions for granting of bail and cancellation of bail are different. The conditions for granting of bail was itself flouted. And from there, the whole story starts. And anybody going out of India for a film shoot, being a murder charge-sheeted accused, I think it is, I have not heard of it. I tell you very frankly, I have not heard it. Whether influence has played, incompetence has played,
So Mr.
indifference has
Rajiv
played.
says that his celebrity status he's paying the price for, because ideally bail should be his right. Now because he's a popular celebrity, he's now gone back to jail. But you think otherwise, that his celebrity status gave him the leeway, gave him that leverage, allowed him to go out of country twice, allowed him to live a comfortable life in the few months in the name of surgery, back pain, etc. He got bail and he was going about his film reviews. You have a film screening. I have that shot for you on our screens here, where he was part of a film screening. He said he has back pain, he has to undergo surgery, but he was going around doing his film screenings.
I am not talking about celebrity status or lack of celebrity status. What I am saying is that based on the evidence available, he was able to take the High Court for a ride which is clearly substantiated.
So
by
that's what I'm
large
saying.
number of
How many of them
activities.
have the capacity to take the High Court for a ride? If you
That I
don't
leave
have
it to
the
you.
influence and if you're not a celebrity, you don't have the means, you can't. So he has all